was just watching Iman Gadzhi's recent video on why he bought consulting.com. I kind of knew the reason already, just like you probably know. Like the name is very familiar to people. Sam Ovens was the previous owner, is a very big name in the information space, blah blah. All that shit is kind of known already. But he said something that actually blew my mind, something new. I never thought about it that way. And what he said was about a traditional education system so deep into this information space that I don't really see it anymore. Like I'm working every single day. It's now Sunday, 10 a.m. and I'm here at the mall working just because I want to. I like to and have all the incentives to do so. We are just on the verge of making so much money with the business because we're just learning so much in this quick period. It's going to compound over the next 2 to 3 months and then the revenue is going to skyrocket. So we are incentivized to work on this information thing, and we are running one of the biggest YouTube agencies. We run the big YouTube channels for entrepreneurs on YouTube. We are the best in the world, maybe not the biggest yet in the world, but we will be soon. Objectively speaking, based on the clients that we have, we work with Robert Kiyosaki and Ken McCord, for example. You probably know the writer of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. But to not talk more about our own business, that's the reason why I kind of overlook this and oversee this a little bit too much. The traditional education system is collapsing. I am 22 years old. I'm trying to settle down in 3 to 5 years, and I want children, and I want a bunch of them because I'm building this wealth for my future family and my current family. So why the fuck would I not have a bunch of children? That's awesome, right? It seems like a cool thing to me to have a bunch of children and have a big family, and that's why I'm working so hard to get all this money, not revenue, because revenue is pointless, to get all this profit and money in my account to provide for them. I want them to grow up in a new way. I don't want them to go to school. I don't want them to consume this old information and wasting their time on all these outdated systems that have been built years and years and years ago. And I dislike my time in high school because I didn't really learn anything. And right now I'm making more money than I would have ever done if I would have continued my career that I was learning in university. So that kind of goes to show that I'm not stupid, but I was just not incentivized in high school at all because I didn't care about it. So I know that my children are not going to be willing to do that. So I want to give them a path that is way more challenging, that's way more fun, and that's way more levered than what I did before, because I wasted all my time in high school, to be honest. Didn't learn a single thing. The only thing that I learned was socializing and like social pressure, but for the rest there's zero knowledge that I kept from high school. I learned everything for the business by just doing it in real time. The thing that we're doing on YouTube, I just learned it by taking action. Nothing was from high school or from university, because I also went to university. And why do I say all of this? I say all of this because I want to give my children a better path. I want to give them a path that is challenging and more fun and more incentivized and just in general better to go through an education system. And that's what Iman Gadzhi was talking about. He kind of subtly mentioned it in the video. It was like a 15-minute video, I believe. He didn't really go big on that topic, but the traditional education system is gonna collapse because guys like me, guys like you, you're watching this raw video for more than 3 minutes. You're probably kind of a strange guy yourself. Well, everyone watching me in this mall, why the fuck are you talking to a camera? Well, I just don't give a shit anymore at this point because I like this shit so much that I'm willing to go through that social pressure. You and I are kind of weird guys, and you don't want your children to go through the traditional education system with all these retarded people and learning retarded information that they're never going to use. You are not going to want to send your children to a school like that. If there is an option that you don't have to send them that way, like another option, a better option, you're going to do that, even if you have to pay 10 times the money. Like if you have an in-person place that you can learn this online information and still get the social information, get the social pressure and learn to socialize with other kids. That's like how you find love and how you find friendships. And that's how you learn those things. That's still necessary. That's why I need to be in person. And you would pay 10 times the money because at that time you're probably very wealthy. You would pay 10 times the price to get your children to that school instead of the traditional education system. So what Iman Gadzhi was saying, if you are one of the main leaders in that industry, and Iman Gadzhi is around for 5+ years now, maybe more than 5, so he kind of proved that he can be around for longer and go with new changes and everything. If you can be one of the main leaders and hyper invested in this information space, and you know that this is going to play out very big, because you don't want your children to go to the normal school and I don't want to. If you launch a product or like a school or another educational system, you are going to send your children that way and I'm going to send my children that way. So there's a lot of money in that place right now because no one really has an alternative to traditional education system. So if you create that option, a lot of people are willing to do that. Guys like Andrew Tate and Iman Gadzhi, like all these guys online, Jordan Welch, whatever, they're all preaching for this. Like take responsibility, learn more, get through pain, accept pain, masculinity, blah blah blah. So all these people would want their children to learn those rules instead of the traditional education system. Like, okay, because the traditional education system is kind of for females, that's also why they perform better in the traditional education system. If you are a main leader in the news space, if you provide an alternative, there's a lot of money there, and we probably don't realize how big this actually is and how much money there is in that space still. It's not something for today, it's not something for tomorrow, it's something for in 10 years, in 25 years. So if you have equity in big programs like school.com or WOP or consulting.com, for example, even if you own like 5% of it, that shit is gonna grow and grow and grow, and any of those platforms are gonna provide an alternative option to traditional education system, and you're gonna make so much money just from that 5% if it actually explodes like we assume and like we expect it to explode. So without yapping too much, I will end the video here. Just do with this information what you want. I don't really care. I don't want more competition for myself. So please don't take action on this and give up and just go through school, go through university, just try to go through a career, because that reduces the competition for us. But if you are masculine and if you think the same way that we do, subscribe, and if you're looking for a job and you're good at marketing on YouTube, apply in the comments or reach out to me on Instagram, because we're always hiring. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.